I wonder what's on the tube.
Welcome back.
Thank you for being a friend.
What you talking about, Willis?
You are a meathead.
Nothing for you.
Don't touch that dial, adjust those bunny ears, because what time is it, Jay?
It's time to call my doctor to get that thing on my back checked out.
Well, before that, what time is it?
All right, we're doing Sitcom My Face. I'm Jay, that's
yes,
Nick.
Sitcom
and,
My Face.
What magical show are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about Rob Zombie's The Munsters. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We're talking about The Munsters.
Yeah. the Munsters, yes. The Munsters.
Yes.
The Munsters, the.
not that debacle that we watched last Tuesday. Well, now, have you been reading some of the reviews out there, or?
Oh, dude, have you seen? I've been seeing some of the videos, man. We are not the only ones crapping on this movie. The only good reviews I've seen for Rob Zombie's The Munsters is like a few people on Facebook going, "It's cute. It's not that bad." It's
right.
that bad. And I don't care what you say.
It's like, visually, I think he captured it. It's like, although, I'll say this: watching some of the series again, I found a few things that Zombie picked up on and then threw in the movie as a thing. So,
just to use, yeah, that's true. Just to use a sitcom analogy, Rob Zombie did as good a job at making The Munsters as Elaine on Seinfeld dances.
Yes. Very good analogy there, sir.
A full body dry heave set to music. That's exactly how I would describe The Munsters.
Yeah, I'll totally agree on that. But again, he was able to replicate certain things, like, put it this way, at the end, he was able to replicate them breaking through Herman breaking through the door, Lily coming out, and then Grandpa coming out to the Munsters theme. Yeah, they got that.
Now, I was curious what...
That's about... Yeah.
I was curious what our guest was going to think of The Munsters tonight.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you.
Wait.
Gino cannot make it.
2. Why is there only 2 of us?
Well, the curse lives.
Is there the pumpkin behind you? Is that the guest?
Might as well be, because our luck keeps running low here. Yeah, my buddy Gino, who works at the local pizza parlor, he had a bit of a hot pizza accident, we shall say. Kind of flipped up, hit him in the face. Nice scalding pizza. Yeah,
hot pizza accident.
Oh no, not an accident. That happens after you eat it. That's if you get the spicy.
Yeah. Or it's too greasy, it just slides right out.
Exactly. Definitely had those before.
But he's good? Your friend's all right?
Yeah, he's doing okay. He just got checked. Just some minor burns, but thank God, escaped pretty unscathed. But yeah, we'll see.
Our friend, our guest just arrived, actually.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sitcom My Face. What a maroon.
Well, it's interesting you bring up Mr. Bugs Bunny there, because there is a bit of a connection to Bugs Bunny in the Munsters.
I know. I watched a little documentary on YouTube. I just finished it here before we started recording. It was like a 43-minute thing. I will post it on our Facebook page if you're not on our Facebook page.
Sweet.
Facebook.com/sitcommyface. Oh, did you look up I sent you the music video I was talking about during the...
Yes, I did. Yeah,
did you watch it?
The Uma Thurman music video.
Was it? It was by who?
Was it Fallout Boy? Was it? think it might have been. I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I was
sure.
like, it was one of those alternative type groups. I was thinking it was Maroon 5,
Yep.
but no, I think it was Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, Fall Out Boy.
Uma Thurman, that song, the main hook of it is the Munsters.
It's the Munsters theme.
Which is weird because like they don't really. It's the song doesn't really reference it, and the video doesn't really reference it.
No, yeah, and
So
it's
what a
just
weird
like
poll
so
that they
out of
use
place. It's like, huh? And I don't think Uma Thurman was in any Munsters reboots that I'm aware of. She wasn't in that Rob Zombie thing we watched last week.
Just got the cold chills.
Yes, as Jay shudders.
Stop talking about it. God damn it. Although I did figure out where Butch Patrick was in the film, and we had no chance of noticing him because he was the tin can man that fucking marries him, the robot.
Oh God, that's who he played. Oh jeez.
Wow, what a kick in the ass, right? We're not even gonna see your face. You're just gonna play the robot that you made in this old series. Oh, before we get too deep, though, I should give another shameless plug. Deer Camp 86, kids, if you're in the LA area, I had the great privilege of starring in this awesome horror comedy. I've seen it twice, so I know it's good. And trust me, if I'm in a bad movie, I'm going to tell you it's a bad movie. This is not a bad movie. It's a great movie. I've been in a million shitty films and 2 good ones. So check out Deer Camp 86, October 12th at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood, California. Tickets are on sale at Eventbrite. If you just look up Deer Camp 86, Eventbrite, $13. Come hang out. There's going to be tons of awesome people there, and definitely need to fill those seats up. But luckily, they're almost sold out, I was told. So
sweet. Awesome.
I heard there's very few seats left, so we're in a good spot right now. But help us out, fill those up. See you there. And the other good movie I was in is called Mayberry Man. Go check that out. I think it's still on Amazon to purchase, I believe.
I believe so.
And they're working on the TV series now. I'm waiting for my call. Don't forget me.
Awesome. Yeah, well, hopefully we'll have those guys also on the show at some point to talk a little Mayberry and
Great
Andy
guys.
Griffith.
Great brothers. Their father was on the show. All right, so the Munsters.
The Munsters.
That's great to cleanse our palate of the last pile of shit.
Yes, with the actual series, The Munsters. What we know and love from growing up. Now, did you watch this as a kid, or like what was your first exposure?
Yeah, this was actually one of my earliest like monster things, I think. And as a young child, I remember absolutely loving it. And my grandpa's name was Herman, so I just related.
Oh, cool.
So I used to watch this probably Nick at Night. I think it was on a lot, Nick at Night.
Yeah.
Again, one of those shows where you go, there's only 2 seasons. I remember so many more. You know, you feel like you remember
two
all
seasons,
these episodes.
70 episodes and 2 made-for-TV movies.
Was it only 70?
Yeah, 70 episodes and 2 made-for-TV movies. And what do you call it? The guys behind it. We've mentioned one of the guys before. Alan Burns. Does that ring a bell?
I did look up a little bit when I was looking up my writers and directors. I saw there's like 4 guys who are basically credited on every episode, and I think it's because they're all kind of creators. And I know you were talking about Bugs Bunny, and I did see. Is that the one you're talking about? Who had the idea originally?
No. I didn't get to that one. I'm talking about one of the credited co-creators, Alan Burns. We've heard his name before in what we've watched, because he was also one of the co-creators of The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Oh, weird. Wait till we get to the 2 prominent writers I found. They also created a classic, but I'll wait on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah. He also created the series My Mother the Car, and they also did some. He did some editing for Get Smart later on as well. And he had some later sitcoms that he also was involved in, like writing, producing. such as The Duck Factory with Jim Carrey. I remember that one. Eisenhower and Lutz and Cutters. Those I don't remember.
Suicide sitcom? What the fuck is that? I cut to feel. You're like, what the fuck is this show? Starring Tony Randall.
The other guy set as a co-creator from Bayonne, New Jersey, is Chris Hayward, who also was a writer for The Rocky and Bullwinkle Show, Alice, Barney Miller, Get Smart, 77 Sunset Strip, The Governor and JJ, and He and She. So, yeah, he and Alan Burns actually worked a few times together. So yeah, that was the other co-creator. And again, that's not the the connection to Bugs Bunny. We'll get to that when we get to the cast.
Well, the Bugs Bunny connection that I found was that there was, I believe he was the guy who created Bugs Bunny for Warner Brothers, had come to them with an idea about a funny monster family. He went to Warner Brothers with it, and they turned it down, but he kept trying to push it. And then it wasn't until many years later that basically the same exact thing comes up as the Munsters. Because even in his cartoon idea, he had Frankie was going to be the father of the family and with a vampire wife. So there was a lot of similarities. But this was they were shooting it at Universal for CBS, the Munsters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Munsters runs from 64 to 66 on CBS. Do you want to start with like the concept and the actors real quick?
Yeah, let's go into the concept and also having that connection to Universal Studios gave them a little extra clout and access, we shall say.
I know that when I saw the Munsters house at Universal, it had been desecrated by being turned into a house from fucking Desperate Housewives.
Ugh.
They were like, "There's
the horror, the horror."
There's the Munsters house. Why is it purple? Because we're using it for Desperate Housewives. No.
Ugh.
Unless Eva Longoria is here, I don't want to hear about that shit.
It's like no. Darn. But no, being that it was a Universal Studios, co-product there, there was a connection to the Universal Monsters, like the famous Universal Monsters, so they had access to that catalog. And now the original Universal Monsters, Frankenstein, the makeup was done by Jack Pierce, but the makeup for the show was credited to Bud Westmore, who actually did a lot of the makeup effects for some of the other Universal Monster movies.
Are you aware of why the monster genre like this and the Addams Family had a resurgence at this time in the 60s?
That I'm not aware.
So you mentioned the Universal Monsters. Apparently, just years before this, late 50s, early 60s, Universal had sold their entire catalog for TV viewing.
Oh, gotcha.
So all that generation that hadn't seen these movies in theaters were now beginning to experience them on television, and it created an entire new generation of fans for these things. So the merchandising, they credited the merchandising for things like the Munsters and the Addams Family because Universal model kits, they said especially.
Oh yes,
model kits,
those were
cars,
huge.
They said all these things were selling like crazy, and it gave the studios, well, we need to do something with the Monsters again. And the timing just worked out that these things were like, hey, they heard about Addams Family coming over to ABC. They're like, what do we got? What do we got? Let's do something. And we get the Munsters.
Well,
which we will have that debate another day once we get to the Addams Family, but
yes. And again, another show that I grew up with too. Like these things were already in syndication heavy, like when I was a kid. So yeah, I got exposed to both of them. One of the reasons they said that the Munsters suffered after a while in the ratings.
I do know, because a certain other show showed up on the airwaves.
What's this?
a certain Technicolor beautiful color show that they said made this show look like Grandpa's show.
Yeah,
Bang!
and
Pow! Boom!
Biff, Mint. I'm sorry, now going Simpsons there, but yes, ABC's Batman put a hurtin', unfortunately, on the Munsters. So, yeah, that's what one of the things they credit to, the demise of the show. As you said, lasted 2 seasons, but 70 episodes.
So you got this. It's called Two Hearted, but it really should be called 45 Belches because Jesus Christ. Cheers, everybody.
But what brewery there?
This is Bell's. Two Hearted is one of my absolute favorites.
Bell's Brewery. Sweet. Yeah, one of these days, if I get up there back to Michigan, I'll definitely have to do a little brewery tour.
So,
but I know you got some good ones up there.
Oh my God, dude. Beer City, baby. I think Huffington Post named this Grand Rapids place to be like twice.
Yeah, I believe it. But
so
yes,
the family, you got, back to the Munsters. You got Herman Munster, who is the patriarch of the family. He's Frankenstein's monster, basically.
Right.
And that's Fred Gwynn, who's amazing. If you don't know him from the Munsters, what do you know him from? Maybe the neighbor in Pet Sematary or the judge in My Cousin Vinny.
Correct. Or,
Absolute
going back.
Performances.
Yeah. Car 54, Where Are You? Where he actually starred with another one of the Munsters. You want to hit that one?
Grandpa. He was in, I believe, 44 episodes with him. The Count. They call him the Count.
Correct.
Does he have it? What's his actual character name? Do we have one, or just Grandpa or the Count?
Grandpa. That's what they call what he's credited as. But as you said, when they introduce him at times, they'll either say Grandpa or the Count.
So, and then his daughter is the beautiful
Yvonne DiCarlo as Lily Munster.
Yeah.
Now, what do you know about Yvonne besides being beautiful?
She was in the 10 Commandments.
Yes, as Moses' wife.
Well, that's the documentary covered this too. They had a late in life interview with Al Lewis. And I don't know if you know, but they did a pilot where Eddie and Lily were both different actors.
Ah, okay.
So it was called My Fair Munster, I believe. Yes. My Fair Munster. They did a pilot where Joan Marshall played the Lily character, which at that point was named Phoebe, strangely. And
what's the last name Buffet?
No. Happy Dumont, I think, was the kid who played Eddie. I wrote it very scribbly, but I think that's what I wrote.
And a happy Dumont to you too, Jay.
Yeah. Fuck you. So this kid, though, the way he played Eddie was very like feral and aggressive. Like,
oh,
like, yeah, it was very strange. So I guess the studio didn't like that when they saw the pilot there, which the pilot was actually shot in color, strangely enough, but they went to black and white because they said it was $10,000 more an episode to make a show in color at that time.
Color back then, yeah.
So, yes, they were recast, and then we got the Lily that we know now. But Al Lewis and Fred Gwynn, when they found out that the part was being recast, mainly, strangely enough, because they said that the Joan Marshall Phoebe looked way too much like Morticia.
She getting into a little trouble there.
She looked like her, and she kind of was acting like her. So they were like, no, let's not do that. So they brought in her.
Okay.
But they were not a fan of the recasting because they said, what's this big movie star coming in here? She's a bona fide film star. She's going to come in here and be demanding and steal the limelight. And Al Lewis, they cut back to him in the interview, and he just goes, we were wrong. He was like, she was amazing and perfect.
Now, who else was in the family?
Eddie Munster.
You mentioned Eddie.
But he's little Eddie Munster. He's a little werewolf boy.
Interesting, being that his dad is Frankenstein and his mom is a vampire. he comes
I
out a
think
werewolf.
The mailman might have been a werewolf.
Well, yeah, maybe this is why, in the movie that what was it? The
Don't say
brother.
that. That was her brother. Her brother was a werewolf. Don't say that.
Yeah,
she fucked her
no,
brother?
No, I'm not talking about monster incest here. No. Next on the next Maury. Maybe just werewolf genes are in the family or whatever with however grandpa there. Now we had another member of the family, the niece, Marilyn.
Marilyn Monroe. I mean Munster. Apparently she was very much meant to be Marilyn Monroe. Is the idea
right with the blonde hair?
This is the thing that
done
blew
up that
my
way
mind because this is the thing that blew my mind because if you put a fucking gun to my head and said how many actresses played Marilyn, I wouldn't have got it right. I did not fucking remember at all that there were 2 Marilyns on this show.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. I just remembered someone saying it, but until watching the episodes, it's like, oh yeah, okay, and because in my head always Pat Priest, that's Marilyn, but then
really see the first girl was the one I remembered.
Oh, okay. Beverly Owen.
They said she only filmed 13 episodes, but I think she's credited on 15.
Okay. Oh well, looking at the thing here, she is set as Marilyn for episode 1 to 13,
and her name's Beverly Owens, right?
Beverly Owen.
Now I had to look up why she left the show. Are you familiar with why she left the show?
No, I didn't get a chance to look that up. Why did Beverly Owen leave a successful sitcom playing Marilyn Munster?
So she was an actress from New York. She had a loving man in New York, and they planned on, getting married and starting a life in the East Coast. She got an offer for a pilot that everyone in the entire fucking industry was like, just do it, get the paycheck. There's no way this piece of shit's going to get picked up. Never in a million years will this show get bought. So she does the pilot, and now she's signed a contract. So the show gets picked up. She's like, fuck. She starts filming the show. They said it was going well at first, but eventually she basically fell into a crazy depression and was crying all the time on set, was unhappy as hell, missed her fiance, I think boyfriend at the time, but eventually married. So she knew that she had signed a contract. She couldn't get out of it, but the producers, I forget which ones, but it might have been the creators, saw how unhappy she was and basically gave the studio an ultimatum. It goes, you let her go or we go.
Wow.
And they did her a huge favor and got her out of that. They said, let her out of her contract. If she doesn't want to be here, why do this to her, So they actually let her out of her contract. And what's the next girl? The one who
Pat
replaced
Priest.
her?
Oh, but before we leave Beverly Owen, I just looked up one thing also, that her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she left after 13 episodes to marry future Sesame Street writer and producer John Stone.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. So yeah, the girl who replaced her said that, I think she said, I read on a Monday, I was cast on a Tuesday, and I was shooting on Thursday. Like, that's how quick that turnaround was. And they even said that many viewers at the time didn't even notice the change because she looks so much like her, for one.
Yes.
And it was like episode to episode and then boom. But they did change the opening. So you have the opening on the stairs with Beverly. And then they do reshoot it for the next girl. And then they reshoot it again. The second season, we get a different opening.
Which is actually the opening I think most people remember, which is the one, again, Herman crashing through the door, and then everyone going through his crash hole there,
You stay away from my crash hole, bro.
Hey.
Actually, I remember the stair one the most, I think.
I remember the stair one as well.
I think I remember the first original stair one better than the second one, though, does have the iconic the freeze of Herman with the head nod. You know what I mean? I think that is the most iconic moment of that opening. Just the weird little head nod he does.
Yep.
And he tries to kind of replicate it in the second season opening,
season
but
one,
not.
yeah. No.
The
the other thing I remember about that, initial opening one with the stairs and that is, Grandpa, the Count, trying to bite Lily's
bite her.
hand. Yeah.
Which he did a lot in the first season. All the ones I watched. He does it almost every episode he meets anybody. He tries to bite him. But the original opening I remember the most. So the theme song, while we're here, we might as well cover this iconic theme song.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the theme song.
One of my
which
favorite instrumentals for a TV theme song.
Yeah, created by Jack Marshall. One of the things he was also credited with, he was the arranger for...
polio.
No.
Oh my God, we're talking about the Munsters?
No, he was credited with the arrangement for Peggy Lee's Fever. Do you know that song?
Is that the one? Fever in the morning, fever. That one?
Yep.
That's
you
a real
give
sexy
me fever
song.
with the finger clip. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Tell me what sitcom I know that song for.
Crap. I'm trying to.
Don't you look at the list?
No. I'm just trying to.
There's an episode of Married with Children where Kelly does the very sexy dance to that song.
Oh wow! I don't know if I saw that one.
She's at at this high school and she grabs the janitor and they do a real sexy fucking dance to it. And then all the parents in the audience start making out and fucking in the audience. They're all grabbing each other. Even Al's what? He's what the hell are you guys doing? That's my little girl. And he looks over and even Peg's pulling on his shirt. He's no. Yeah.
But as far as the rest of his his what you call it career there, besides doing also the music for Munster Go Home, one of the TV movie ones, he also did Thunder Road, The Giant Gila Monster, which I remember from Mystery Science Theater 3000, Kona Coast, and The Deputy, which was a television series starring Henry Fonda. And he also did The Debbie Reynolds Show.
Why don't you give us a basic outline of a typical Munsters episode? What's the formula?
Okay. The formula is...
It's got a pretty clear formula.
Well, yeah, there's usually something, there's a misunderstanding or I should say Herman misunderstanding something, Grandpa scheming something, and basically the two of them are usually the keys. Herman and Grandpa are usually the keys to most every episode.
It's usually normal people encountering the Munsters.
Yeah, that's
and
the other
Munsters
piece.
Not understanding why the normal people don't accept them or are scared of them.
Yeah, the whole idea of the show is the Munsters, with looking like these universal monsters, think they're the average American family, so they don't understand the reactions they get at times.
We should say, I don't think we mentioned when we brought up Marilyn, she's a gorgeous, normal-looking girl. That's her whole thing is she's a normal person, and they think she's hideous.
Yes, they think she's the ugly duckling.
There's a running gag on the show about how she's less fortunate than the rest of us. Let's be nice to her, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever she has a boyfriend, it's nice that he's willing to look past her looks.
Yeah, and I love when, again, usually when the boyfriend or whoever she's dating meets, usually it's Herman, and it's the fast motion runaway.
I was looking for that this time.
What's that?
And I didn't see much of it in the first season. I think that came more in the second season.
Yeah, there were a couple of moments in the first one that happened, but
they run away a lot. But all the ones I saw in the first season, it wasn't sped up, and I was like, oh, I remembered it all being sped up. But
yeah, but the other thing is Marilyn's reaction when that happens is, I did it again.
yeah, what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me?
Well, even in the first episode, which again I think is an amazing pilot.
Oh yeah, it was a really good pilot.
And the pilot of the Munsters, honestly, of all the ones I watched just today, I think the pilot gives you a great sense of what this show is. And one of the most awesomely shot pilots. Like it's so well lit. It's got such interesting framing. Like you're shooting through cobwebs and you're shooting through the harp.
Yep.
But the pilot, compared to most of the rest of the show, the first maybe 5 or 6 I noticed were kind of shot darker. Later on, we get full 60s, well lit, and it's not as interesting to look at to me. But this pilot is it's shot like a 1950s horror Universal monster movie.
Yeah, and what I'm sure they were going for that aesthetic at first, but then realizing it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we should probably lighten it up like the other shows on TV now.
Yeah,
which they shouldn't have. They should have kept that aesthetic.
Yeah. Well, they mentioned in the doc how important it was for them to be lighthearted up front, which is why the theme song is a parody of all those theme songs of the day, like the whole family entry and all that. So I feel like the lighting probably had something to do with that. Maybe the pilot was too spooky for kids, even because you had such great makeup, and the lighting was honestly just like lighting half of their face, so it had so much atmosphere. But there was a lot of darkness in the frame, so I wonder if that just off-put some children. And by the time by the time the show aired, it had such a huge kid following. They were probably like, nah, brighten it up, whatever. But first of all, I will say, thank the God I don't believe in that this show's black and white, because they look terrible in color.
Yeah.
But in black and white, this show works so well.
Here's another thing with the color and that. And we've mentioned actually last week when we were watching that thing. It's like, yeah, this actually had a this has been rebooted before. The Munsters has been rebooted before, and that reboot actually ran for more seasons, which was strange to us.
Yeah. So can you name? Don't you look at that fucking list. Name all the reboots and movies and shit that you can for the Munsters.
Well, okay, there was the movies, Munster Go Home, and what was the other movie? Munster Holiday or something or other? No.
Spooky Little Christmas, I think it was called, or something.
Something like that, yeah. Then the reboot was Munsters Today, I believe it was called.
Yep.
Then there was
I think ran for like 4 or 5 seasons. Too many.
Yes.
It's terrible. I don't know how it ran that long.
Yes, and the thing that first off-put me, okay, yeah, one besides the color and it just doesn't look right, but then at the end of the theme, Herman singing, "We're the Munsters, we're the Munsters." It's like, no, you're not supposed to sing the theme song. It's just a theme song. Let it be.
The last glimmer of hope, I think, for the original cast, and it was squandered, was the Munsters' Revenge. They recast, I think, was Eddie recast in that too? I think he was. Eddie and Marilyn were both recast. But you know what that was when they made that, the Munsters' Revenge?
No.
That was an attempt at a reboot for the show. And you know why it failed?
Because the two that had to be recast there? Or?
No. They aired it the same night as apparently the first TV airing of The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, bad move.
So I want to
about your bad moves.
I think it was going to be for NBC. So I think actually NBC was going to pick up the Munsters, because I think by then they were probably teamed up with Universal. So they aired this Munsters Revenge thing, and they were like, it's coming on TV. And then must probably ABC was like, "Hey, we got the Wizard of Oz, bitch," and they were like, "Fuck." But they basically blamed its failure on that. But that was NBC's attempt at like, is there any interest here for the Munsters to come back? And unfortunately, because of the Wizard of Oz, no, there was no interest at all.
Yeah, there was no interest in anything else at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, now there was another reboot that was what was supposed to happen. Mockingbird Lane.
Mockingbird Lane, yeah. And I kept saying, I kept trying to think of that fucker's name during the thing. I kept saying Chris O'Donnell, but it's Jerry O'Connell, I think. Was
Jerry O'Connell. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's Jerry O'Connell and Chris O'Donnell. Those are the two I confuse all the time.
Jerry O'Connell is the fat kid from Stand By Me that transformed into the future husband of Rebecca Romaine.
Rebecca Romaine, yeah.
Yeah. Which I love, again, going back to that that celebrity roast we talked about when we talked about Gilbert.
Your wife to the fat kid from
Stand By Me. Going to John Stamos. There was also a couple of other ones that were supposed to be done. Another modern day movie back in 2004. Keenan Ivory, Sean, and Marlon Wayans were supposed to write and produce a new version in 2004. Before, and then Seth Meyers... I think they would have
done better than Rob Zombie, though.
Yeah. Most anyone would have done better than Rob Zombie. But in 2017, Seth Meyers was trying to develop a modern-day interpretation for NBC.
No, thank you.
Where the Munsters would be in Brooklyn.
No, thank you, Seth Meyers. You stay wherever you are, Seth Meyers. We don't need you. Does he still have a talk show? No, he's done, right?
Yes. Seth Meyers is still going.
His brother was the one that ruined that 70s show. That's right. The other Myers.
Mike Myers.
Josh Myers.
Oh, okay.
Josh Myers, I think, was the one that took over.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, the latter.
You know what's fucked up? I learned about that. You know, have you seen that last season of 70s show, which we'll cover hopefully soon?
Not the whole season, but I saw episodes and kind of turned away until the last episode.
They tried to recast, or they brought him in as like a replacement for Eric.
Yeah.
Why? You have enough characters. You don't need to do that anyway. But the original idea was to recast him as Eric. Can you fucking imagine?
No.
Can you fucking imagine if they did that?
No, that's a total no. But those are the ones I'm aware of as far as, reboots and attempted reboots with the Munsters. But
there's been a lot of random. The one with you called it a TV movie, but actually the documentary, the Munsters Go Home one.
Yeah,
they said the entire purpose of that movie being made was the show. They knew the show was going to end. So first of all, even before the second season ended, they knew they were going to cancel it, and they decided they wanted to try to push the Munsters in foreign markets. So they were like, we're going to make a movie. And we're going to shoot it in color to compete with that Batman bullshit that's putting us out of business. And we're going to ship it overseas and see if there's any interest overseas.
Ah, okay.
So, fucked up though, the Marilyn who was doing the second season, they came to her on set while they were still filming season 2 and said, by the way, we're recasting you in the movie.
Wow.
And she had to keep fucking filming the show.
The current show. Damn.
That fucked up.
Yeah.
And it was some girl that the creators had worked with. I think they had created a show called Karen or something like that she was on, and they really liked her. And she was like 17, and the girl playing her in the show was like 30, the replacement. So,
jeez. Well,
they were like, we want to go younger.
Hey, there's one other member of the household you're forgetting.
Is it the one that we
and not Igor
movie?
the Bat, because he has no lines. Although,
yeah, I was gonna say when we watched Rob Zombie's Munsters, I was like, is Igor part of the show? And yeah, one episode I
That's
watched
the
had
bat,
Igor
yeah.
the fucking bat, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that's why it was like,
Okay.
not a. It's like, wait a second, here he is, full human form or whatever in this,
So
movie.
you're talking about the cat that roars.
There's
or
the cat that roars. There's also
Raven.
Spot.
Which
The-
in the movie I actually
Raven.
said, wow, that Raven says evermore. How original. And then
Yeah.
he's in this fucking show a lot, Nick. I
Yes,
did not
he
remember
is.
the Raven
He is making a lot of
at
comments.
all.
Now, do you know who played the Raven?
Like voiced the Raven?
Yep, who voiced the Raven? There were two people that voiced the Raven.
Oh, are you gonna give me Mel Blanc? Is that your Bugs Bunny?
Yep. What's up, Doc? Yes.
It's fucking Mel Blanc was the Raven?
Mel Blanc was the Raven, and then also later on, Bob Hastings was the Raven, who's done a lot of voice work.
Well, that Nevermore thing, literally when I saw it in Rob Zombie's movie, I was like, that's the extent of his jokes. And then it's in here every fucking time that Raven talks. And I was
Yes.
like, what? The grandpa was like feeding him a cracker or something in one episode. And he goes, you want more? And he goes, Nevermore. You're like, every fucking Raven scene ends with fucking Nevermore. I was like, holy shit. Okay, so Rob Zombie does like the show. I get it, but still didn't make a good movie. And the other member of the family is
I
Spot.
found the yes, Spot, the dragon like
I like where Herman's roasting weenies on his torch, his flames coming out of his snout. He said like, well done, Spot.
But by the way, I found your connection, what you were saying before, with the person that created Bugs Bunny, Bob Clampett. Bob Clampett was the guy that originally had the idea when, until, when the similar idea was submitted by guys from Rocky and Bullwinkle, Burns and Hayward. Now, as far as episodes, what episodes did you wind up watching? What were some of the ones that you really enjoyed?
I watched, I think, 5 in the first season. Yeah, I think 5 in the first season, 5 in the second season. I would say let's see. I like the first episode a lot. I think the first episode offers, not only do you get the Munsters going to a high society party, which is a very common story thread. You also get the babysitter who comes in to watch Eddie while they're gone. So
yes,
strangely, you have them fish out of water for them in high society, and you have the babysitter come in to their house and is dealing with their world. So you get the best of both worlds of like all the best Munster episodes are that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get them both in one episode, which is amazing. And that even the stuff with just like that housekeeper actress, she's fucking funnier than hell, and that's the only episode I saw her in. Like she's sitting down there, and you just like hear the house creaking and shit, and then Eddie starts howling at the fucking moon.
Yes,
she's just like, "What the hell's going on?"
That was me. Sorry.
That's when the cat's roaring at her and shit, like a fucking the little black cat roars, and it sounds like a panther or some shit. She's like, "What the fuck is going on here?" So it was weird that they kind of shot their load in that one episode with both of those storylines.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that first episode's great. And then I messaged you earlier. The last 2 in the first season were I was dying laughing, and the one was where Herman gets fired from the funeral home and gets a job at the laundromat with the very racist portrayal of the Asian man. I don't know if you watched that one.
Oh God, no! You see, I didn't get a chance to. I got your text there, but I didn't get to.
I'm pretty sure the man playing the Asian man was not actually Asian, and it was like, so you put the laundry in the thing, and he's like real fucking stereotypical. I was like, oh shit.
Oh God.
But he's like, when bell go off, clean clothes come out, go in hamper, and then so Herman's running this laundromat, but he's listening for the bell to do the things he's told. So it feels like a real I Love Lucy episode. So the doorbell starts ringing. the phone starts ringing, and every one of those bells,
Every
he thinks
bell.
is the laundry. So you got some real great physical humor of him like throwing wet clothes into the hamper, and he opens them when it's still going, and shit's flying in his face. It was very funny. But he's like, like, what do I do if a customer comes if you're not going to be here? And he goes, hide, because he doesn't want to scare the customers away. So, he pulls a water valve off the wall, and you got the steam shooting in his face. Like, really good physical stuff that, usually his stuff is like breaking something. This is a real, like, Lucy moment, it felt like. I really like that one.
Yeah.
And the last one of the season was where he saves the kid from the fence. The kid got his head stuck in the fence, and you got a guest appearance by Harvey Korman.
Oh, who was also in another episode, Harvey Korman. When in season 2, when Marilyn submits her sculpture at the university, for her, for her art class, and the guy's like, "Wait, there's a living being that looks like that?" Because she did it off Uncle Herman's head. That was not the
4. I think when I looked at the list of guest stars, I think Paul Lynde and I think both had 4 appearances, I believe.
Yeah, Paul Lynde was the doctor. Dr.
Dudley.
Dr. Dudley, thank you.
Do you know who the replacement was for him when he didn't do it no more?
No.
So the second season, after Paul Lynde had played him, I think 3 times, at least in the first season, they brought in Dom DeLuise to play Dr. Dudley.
Oh my God!
I was like, what?
Oh, of all people.
And why the same character, though? Why not just make it a different doctor?
Yeah, just a different doctor. But now, of other people that you recognized throughout the show also, did you watch the second episode? With the love potion?
No, I don't. No, I didn't. No, not today.
Okay. Well, the mailman is John Fiedler. Do you know that name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw him on the list too. We talked about him in the Odd Couple episode because he was in the film, The Odd Couple.
Yep, he was in the film. He was in the The Odd Couple show, and he was the voice of Piglet.
Yeah, he was the fucking Piglet. We talked about it in that episode, but the man played Piglet till he fucking died.
Yes,
it wasn't like he retired and 10 years later he died. No, he played fucking Piglet till he died. That's some dedication.
Yeah.
But the whole time I was watching The Odd Couple, I was so distracted because I was like, why do I know his voice? Why do I know his... And then he showed up on the Bob Newhart show as well.
Oh.
I think he was a patient of Bob Newhart.
I wouldn't be... Oh, yeah, no, he was, actually. Yeah, he was a patient on Bob Newhart. Oh, in the 4th episode, Rockabye Munster, that was with Paul Lynde as Dr. Dudley. And did you see Elmer Dudley?
I saw him, but I don't know who he is. Is he also famous?
Yeah, well, he was in our F Troop episode. Good grief.
Oh, that was the kid who...
Yes, that was the original himself? Charlie Brown, who suffered from too much good grief.
Yourself.
Yes,
he's Charlie Brown himself. If you want to know what happened to that kid, go listen to our F Troop.
episode. F Troop episode.
We'll leave him in suspense. Well, I liked that episode as well when he thinks that Lily's pregnant, and then there's the whole misunderstanding in that episode, and then it ends with them when the kid brings over the Frankenstein toy.
Yes.
So she's like, oh yeah, he's in the other room, go meet him. And he walks in and they're playing with the Frankenstein toy and he goes, my son! It's like a robot. Oh man.
Oh, that was
so
good.
Fucking stupid. They're just like, what?
See.
The Harvey Korman guest spot where the kid is stuck in a fence. Herman saves him and is like, you can call me Uncle Herman, whatever. And he's like, becomes friends with the family. And he's telling his parents. So you have the cut between the two scenes where Lily don't believe Herman. Okay, you're a hero, whatever. This didn't happen. You're such a child. And it cuts to the kid telling his parents, oh yeah, this 9-foot tall monster saved you from a fence. Okay, whatever. So they call in a psychiatrist who is Harvey Korman doing this very I guess like a German.
Yes,
The kid,
that's the thing. Like in his appearances on the show, he seems to always do like a German accent because again, the sculptor teacher of Marilyn at the university also has the German accent.
So the kid brings the psychiatrist to the Munsters home, and you have a lot of him reacting to everything, and it's very funny. Very funny episode.
Another person from the next episode I watched, because I was looking at the list of best episodes of the Munsters, so I watched the one Pike's Peak, where they want to build a pipeline that actually kind of goes under the Munsters' house, but of course, Grandpa's dungeon is kind of in the way there. The one guy that is working with Mr. Pike there, Sonny Harkness, is played by Pat Harrington. Does that name from sitcom history sound familiar?
The name sounds familiar,
yes.
But I don't know who it is.
It's Schneider from One Day at a Time.
Oh, see, I don't think I've ever seen that show, to be honest. They brought that back too, didn't they? Recently?
Yes, yeah. I never watched the reboot, but I heard it was supposed to be very good.
Huh. It's amazing sometimes what they decide to bring back.
Yeah.
And then they just go away. I was listening to somebody had fucking Paul from Mad About You. What the fuck's his name?
Reiser. Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser. They just had him on, and he was talking about the reboot, and that was the way he stated it seemed like it was just like a planned thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, we're just gonna do this many episodes and then we're done. But at the same time, I didn't even hear anybody talk about it. And then Murphy Brown, same thing. I'm like, what a weird fucking time to bring Murphy Brown back out of nowhere. Not like Candice Bergen's had a resurgence or anything.
No.
And all of a sudden, I just never heard about it again. So did they just pull that fucking show from?
Yeah,
that was two of them, and then we're just like,
here and gone.
So bizarre.
Yeah,
that 90s show, and I get Night Court,
but I got to ask you though, between the two seasons, did you prefer? I know you said for the aesthetics, the atmosphere, and that you'd like those first few episodes, but as far as an overall, did you find the episodes in the first or second season better?
The first, and I saw in the doc, in the same interview with Al Lewis, they talked about how the cast was not happy the second season because they felt like again the appeal to kids was getting too strong, and I guess which I don't know why I never thought about it, but to them in the first season they thought the show was a satirical play on race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being out of place.
Did you ever get that from?
No, but again, as you said, the fish out of water. That I got.
So like they in their minds they were playing it as if a black family moved into this suburb in the 60s, and they were being treated as being different racially, which I never thought about. But actually, that makes the satire work, though, right?
Right. And truthfully, I never got that when I watched, so many years, the Munsters. Now watching it, it's like, oh yeah, I could actually kind of see a bit of that in there. But yeah, it's like I was under the whole, fish out of water type of thing. It's like, ooh, monsters in the real world.
The actors in season 2, according to Al Lewis, were upset that they thought they were losing some of the satire, and they were going more for, very goofy, over the top stories. Like,
I would say there was
Herman being struck by lightning and turned into a woman, because apparently that's how transgender works. You just get hit by lightning and you become a woman. I don't know. If you can't afford the operation, kids, just go outside and stand in a fucking lightning storm. That's how it works for Herman Munster. But that was actually the funniest part of the episode was he first gets hit by lightning in Grandpa's lab and he turns into himself. He just loses the makeup. So it's just Fred Gwynn's face.
Oh God, that's funny.
And then he thinks he's hideous. So like, oh my God, Lily won't kiss him because he's just normal. And they're trying to get plastic surgery. And actually, that's the episode where Dom DeLuise plays the doctor, Dr. Dudley.
Okay.
And then they do another experiment on him. He turns into a woman, but he's now got Herman's face again, but he's a woman. And then he walks outside and gets hit by lightning. And not only changes his gender, but it changes his clothes back to Herman's as well. I don't fucking understand how that works, but
that's some good lightning. Well, maybe it's like the lightning from Shazam or something, you know.
Jesus fucking Christ. And he goes, "I'm back," and you're like, "All right, that's where you're starting to lose me a little bit." But
yeah, like speaking of like gimmicky episodes though, too. Like, I had to watch one of the episodes. I just remembered seeing a lot as a kid. It was in season 2, Will Success Spoil Herman Munster, where Eddie borrows a tape recorder from his friend, and the friend's father is a disc jockey. Well, Eddie's playing recording the cat, with his freaking lion's roar and that, but then Herman gets around to the tape recorder, picks up a guitar and starts singing. This is the one I was saying. It's like the foot bone's connected to the toe bone.
He did Sonny and Cher, right? Like the Rob Zombie movie.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. No.
They came later.
Yes, that came later. Well, this is another though crazy thing. Well, the disc jockey guy gets a hold of the recording that from the tape recorder, and it's like, oh, who is this guy? And they start playing it on the radio, and people start requesting it, and it's like, oh, can the person who sang this come forward? And then Herman starts getting a big head of oh, okay, he's famous, he's signing autographed pictures, he's to send out and that. So the family decides they got to do something about it. Because Lily has a dream, or a succession of dreams, and in one of the dreams, because Herman not only becomes famous, for singing, it's like, oh, what if he also becomes a movie star from this as well? And what if when he's first becoming the star of the singing star, he's singing this weird song or whatever, with these, two girls to the side, dancing, something about punk rock. I'm like, oh, that's what Rob Zombie took when Herman was doing his musical act when Lily first sees him in that movie. Yeah, well, that came from this episode, a dream sequence of Lily. But anyway, Grandpa makes the Nothing Muffins, which they shoot a cannon with a nothing muffin into Herman's mouth, and all of a sudden he talks like Alvin and the Chipmunks. So he can't go on TV.
I don't think Sherry Moon studied more than the opening either, because
yes, that's it.
Watching, she's got her hands the whole time. She's the whole fucking movie. She's like a T-Rex, just like ah. And
she's overacting the hands. It's that opening sequence.
The opening of the second season, when Lily walks out the door, she does the little hand thing here.
Yeah,
and then she walks off. That's the only time I really noticed her do it.
Yes,
and Sherry Moon.
The rest of the time, no.
The whole fucking movie.
Yeah, she just picked up on that one little thing, in one sequence, the opening sequence, and thought, oh, that's how Lily must be all the time.
That's the one mannerism you could find in the whole fucking thing. She kept calling him all kinds of weird names in the Rob Zombie version too, and I knew that Lily in the show called Herman certain lovey names. The one that I found the most was Pussycat. She calls him Pussycat a lot. So when I looked up, I told you I was going to try to look up the writers and directors a little more this season. The most prominent director that I found was Ezra Stone, who did 27 episodes and worked on Lassie, Lost in Space. He did a bunch of episodes of a show called My Living Doll, with which actually starred Julie Newmar.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Julie Newmar,
And-
for those of Batman fame, Catwoman.
And there was a show called I Married Joan with Jim Backus, which actually came out right after I Love Lucy. So I wonder if that was a little bit of an I Love Lucy pull. Yeah, like, eh.
Oh,
'Cause if
maybe.
you read the description, it's
And
like,
of course,
his goofy wife, that kind of thing.
and of course, Jim Backus. For most people probably know him. Two things. I would think. One, the voice of Mr. Magoo. Yep.
Yeah.
And the second one, Mr. Howell on Gilligan's Island, which at some point we got to hit. I say lovey. Yeah,
So
I was just watching some Gilligan's Island the other day. They must have had, it was like all sitcoms doing Halloween stuff from back then. I was like, oh, I don't remember that on Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island was kind of a short show too, wasn't that like 3 seasons? That was over.
I think so.
Isn't it
Beca-
weird how
because-
these crazy popular old shows that just become hits in syndication just didn't go very long?
Yep, it's true.
So the writers that I found, there was the 4 that are like creators that were credited on every episode. I'm not going to count them because I feel like they only got credited as writers because they created it.
Okay.
But there was 2 guys who apparently were huge at this point. They did 29 episodes each, so they were like a writing team, right? There was Bob Mosher and Joe Connolly. Now, Bob
Yes,
Mosher...
I saw those names a lot.
Yes. So Bob Mosher had worked on Mayberry RFD. He did 14 episodes of that as a writer. Now, together, though, they were writers on Amos and Andy, which we covered.
Oh.
They also worked on the Munsters Go Home movie. They created a show called the show Karen, which is where the movie version of Marilyn came from. That show starred Richard Denning, who I know best from the radio program with Lucy, My Favorite Husband, which inspired I Love Lucy. This is one of the things I found in that rabbit hole looking at Richard Denning. They actually, after I Love Lucy, they made a TV version of My Favorite Husband, which I did not know. And it was neither Richard Denning nor Lucille Ball.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was in 1953, so it was started 2 years into I Love Lucy.
Wow.
How weird is that? It was 2 different.
That is
actors,
weird.
Though. I would actually love to check that out sometime and see if it compares, because I don't know if you've ever listened to the radio program My Favorite Husband, but it's so good. Richard Denning and Lucy, it's so good. Even if they had just made that into the show that became I Love Lucy, it would still be good. I'm sure it's better as it is, but even that show would be really good. And a lot of their scripts
I'm
came
curious.
from that.
I never listened to that one.
Very good. But so Joe Connolly and Joe Mosher also created another TV classic. Do you know what that is?
Mosher and Connolly. No, I do not know.
They were the creators of Leave It to Beaver.
Oh, there we go.
So they are credited on a lot. All of the there's a lot of fucking reboots I didn't know about. Leave It to Beaver, Still the Beaver, and all this shit. And like the
Still beaving.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was called Still the Beaver or some shit. There was a reboot, a TV movie, and then a show as well.
Don't Stop the Beaver. Yeah.
And then there was the movie that they're credited on, but I don't think they actually wrote it. I think that's just based on their scripts. But also,
got it.
Out of nowhere, all these weird Amos and Andy, Leave It to Beaver, the Munsters, and then they have a story credit on Major Payne for some reason.
Oh wow. Okay, that's out of nowhere.
I don't know. Like, what Major Payne wasn't based on a show or anything, right? I don't
believe so.
I don't know how they got story credit on that. They just went to the that was a New Line film, if I remember right. They just went to make this fucking.
I think so, but wow.
I thought
that's definitely out of nowhere.
That was a weird one. Yeah, that was a weird one. But Yeah, these guys, I guess, have been around for a long time.
I got some a couple of questions for you, like little quiz. You did say about the Desperate Housewives. Do you know what other shows the Munsters house was used in?
I'm sure they told me on that tour, but I was just so upset about Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
And I might be going on that tour again when I go out there next week.
That's cool.
Next Tuesday. Because we're gonna try to go to Universal so we can go to the Halloween Horror Nights or whatever.
Oh, Halloween Horror Nights thing, or
Universal Horror Nights, whatever the hell it's called. So maybe I'll go on the backlot tour again. No, I don't recall offhand anymore that it was used for.
There's two other shows. Shirley with Shirley Jones of Partridge Family fame. What's that?
I've met.
Yes, I forgot about that. I forgot about that one.
I talked about that on the Raising Hope episode one. Because she played, I think, Bert's mother. And
right.
When we had our little hiatus when we moved, we each put up an episode of our other podcast. So if you look on our feed, the episode of Hard to Swallow that I put up,
right,
I tell that story. I picked that one up because I tell the story about meeting Shirley Jones. So.
And one other show that I was surprised though, Coach. It was also used on.
Well, I told you that the only untouched fucking house from the studio tour was the Coach cabin. It's right around the corner from that whole area.
Yeah, the cabin.
So it was. Yeah. It wasn't his house though. It must have been one of the other characters' houses.
I guess so. Yeah, but I just saw that it was like
unless they moved to it in a later season or something.
Maybe. Now
there's been talks of Coach coming back too, so we'll see if we have to do that one soon.
Do you know the two vehicles from the Munsters?
I do. I got them written right here. The Coach and the Dragula.
The Dragula.
They said that they were for merchandise. I guess they were huge. Like kids were.
Oh yeah,
absolutely in love with the
Coach. You said, those models and that. Like kids love.
Was
putting those together back then.
Who's the big car designer? Didn't he also do the Batmobile? The same guy created the Coach. He was in the doc for a second, but I forgot to write his name down. He's a famous. He creates like all the most famous cars and back in the day.
Oh, you know what? I think that maybe. Oh, I got it. George Barris. George Barris was the guy. He was the customizer, like the auto customizer. Yeah.
So he did the Munsters Coach. Did he also do the Batmobile?
Yes, he did the Dragula as well.
Yeah.
Yes, I love. Now I don't know how many like conventions and things you've gone to, like horror conventions or comic conventions or any of those. Well, I've gone to multiple ones where either the Munster Coach or the Dragula were one of the vehicles. Besides, like Ecto-1.
The originals or replicas?
Replicas, of course.
Right.
It'd be awesome if it was the originals, but
we got some replicas. Wacko on my way to work near my job that has a fucking Ghostbusters replica. They just it's always in the parking lot of a Dollar General or a Dollar Tree.
Ah,
I don't know if they work there or what someone just driving
that's interesting.
The Ghostbusters car to fucking work at Dollar Tree.
You mentioned
not the Ghostbusters
Bob...
you like. Not the Ghostbusters you like from the F2.
Oh yeah, with with
not Funimation,
Spencer,
or
Tracy, and Kong. Now I have besides the opening and of course some of the characters between the first and second season, you notice also the difference in the theme song.
Oh, I mean the music itself, not really.
Yeah, well, in the first season, you had that dun 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 with the dun 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 dun. The second season was with that little, if you want to say bigger sound, with the boom ba-dum boom ba-dum.
I guess they all kind of blend together to me at this point.
Yeah. The second I preferred the second season's iteration of the theme song, but it was kind of strange watching the earlier episodes and seeing that it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it didn't always have that beginning thing there. But yeah, that was nominated for a Grammy Award in '65. And you mentioned Bob Mosher before. He actually he wrote lyrics to it that were never used.
We're the monsters.
We're the
Are you sure they weren't used? Are you sure?
Oh, we see why they weren't used.
Today?
Okay.
God. I wanted to touch on just a few of the things that they said that they spent as much time promoting the show in character as they did shooting the show.
I believe
these guys
that.
would go out, do public appearances in makeup. They would do PSAs. They were doing Cheerios commercials. There's a hilarious Cheerios commercial with the fucking Munsters, and Eddie is narrating it, talking about how great his dad is and all this. I'll try to share that on our Facebook page as well, facebook.com.
Oh, cool.
My face. They did an ad for Marineland Carnival, like all these weird fucking commercials, which I love.
Well, Marineland Carnival wasn't Marineland. That was where in the one movie, the premise was they were trying to find a new pet for Eddie. But one of the people that I love that, like you said, used to use the get up, many years after the Munsters was gone, and that was Grandpa Al Lewis, and he ran for mayor of New York, and he actually was going to run for Senate as well.
Yeah, I did for the Green Party.
For the Green Party, yeah, and actually by him doing that, he actually got the Green Party able to be on the ticket the next time because there was enough voters for the Green Party. They got enough votes to say, oh, you know what? We need to put this party on the ticket next time.
He also had the VHS line where he tried to be like a horror host. Do you remember that? Grandpa Presents? I just had to Google what it was called. Grandpa Presents, and it would be like a line of VHS tapes with Al Lewis's Grandpa Munster on it. Mm-hmm. And it was just these shitty horror movies that you would see on, your Mystery Science Theater or that kind of thing.
Exactly. Because I think that actually came from a cable thing. That's what it was.
So it
Super
was
Scary Saturday on TBS. That's what it was. Super Scary Saturday. He would host as Grandpa. To just go back to also him running for New York mayor, he wanted to actually be put on the ballot as Grandpa Al Lewis because that's how most people knew him. But they forbade it. And
they said
and
that he was one of the few that embraced it for a long time, whereas Fred Gwynn tried to escape it and couldn't for many years. But
correct. But of course, the host of Super Scary Saturday, that whole thing, the parody of that, basically, Gremlins 2, the new batch. Grandpa Fred.
You're talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think that's him.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was actually Al Lewis, myself included early on. Yeah. And it's like, oh, no, wait, Grandpa Fred, it's played by Robert Prosky.
And I love that, because he just turns himself into a real, newscaster during the fucking gremlin apocalypse. And you remember who Brain Gremlin was, right? We talked about it.
Tony Randall.
That's right. That poster is literally over my bed. Gremlins 2 poster hangs over my bed. Child's Play 2 poster hangs over my computer right here.
Sweet.
I got sequels galore over here.
In our list of what we've watched, where do you put the Munsters?
I was just doing this when we started recording, and I was looking, it's like, this is difficult, because I really love this show.
This is a weird one for me, too, because I want to say, for me, this one was more nostalgic, and I love the sets, I love the characters, but as a sitcom, I didn't...
Well, we both love them. We both love Universal Monsters in general.
Yes,
so.
And that's the thing. It gets the boost because of those reasons, but as a sitcom, I didn't find myself, if you want to say, laughing out loud all the time, at the things, especially in season 2 when things, got a little sillier. You would think sillier, you'd get some, good, goofs and laughs and that, but...
Well, this is a parody show, too. It's very heavy on the parody. And
correct.
a lot of times for me, those don't make me laugh out loud. They're more like, huh, okay, that's clever. Like there's a lot of great one-liners in this show. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's really about the references. Like the references will make you chuckle or not is what it is with a show like this.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to recap, my top whatever here. Night Court, 1, News Radio, Friends, Raising Hope, Honeymooners, The Bob Newhart Show. I threw F Troop in there, then Mary Tyler Moore Show, then Modern Family, and then The Oblongs. I think that was my top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7.
Where's it? 11,
9, 10. That was my top 10 there.
Okay.
So The Oblongs took my number 10 spot last official episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm actually going to throw the Munsters in here as my new number 10 between Modern Family and The Oblongs.
That's so weird. Because where I was going to put it, like, okay, my top 10 is Modern Family, Mary Tyler Moore, Honeymooners, Friends, Bob Newhart, Odd Couple, Night Court, News Radio, Raising Hope, Living Single. Right after that, I have F Troop, The Oblongs, Andy Griffith. So I was thinking, like, okay, does it go there? I think it goes is right ahead of The Oblongs and right behind F Troop. So basically, it's number 12, the new 12 for me.
It's my new 10, your new 12. Even when we're throwing these in, we're pretty close to each other.
Yeah, no, definitely, and we have some similar, like, why we like some of these shows. Not just the it was a good sitcom. It's like, why was it a good sitcom? Well. Like, okay, like you said, this is a parody. It's the references. It's the imagery. It's the characters. It's the, those were the things that got me on the show. And the nostalgia aspect.
Munster pulls a lot for the characters for me. The characters are so strong, so interesting, so fun, that even when you have a really stupid storyline, the characters kind of pull you through it and make you laugh. This one, heavy on nostalgia for me. Love the connection to the Universal Monsters. Love the atmosphere in a lot of the episodes. Love the dark humor, the jokes, the death jokes. Ironic that this family of monsters is one of the more loving families I think we've seen on a lot of these shows.
Yeah, which is very strange considering the other shows we've watched. It's like, oh, wow, yeah. There are more...
yeah.
Yeah, they're more the nuclear family than like some of the other ones were supposed to be.
And think about, even in their mind, when they think Marilyn's like, oh, she's a uggo, but they still embrace her.
Yep.
They don't they treat her like one of the family. They go out of their way to make her feel accepted, because in their mind, she's a fucking hideous piece of garbage.
I know, it's so funny. But
which Marilyn was hotter to you?
Oh, you know what?
Did you tell the difference?
Yeah, it was harder to tell the difference. I think the first one had a little more attitude to her, which I kind of like. But I think
I like the first one better.
Yeah, the second one, Pat Priest, was very charming as well. But I found her a little more timid as a character. Not timid like, oh, she's afraid of everything, but just while the first one just seemed a little more, attitude to her.
I couldn't believe I didn't know there was 2 Marilyns until I started watching this, and I was like, that's not her. Wait. What? What? I was like, oh shit, I did not remember that at all.
All I gotta say, Jay, wait till we get to Bewitched.
I think old Dick York is from my area here. I'm pretty sure he
might be.
I think he moved back here when he retired as well.
Wow.
I think his
Dick York and Dick Sargent
right down the road.
So Sergeant
I think
York.
his grave's down the road here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Let's go visit.
Also, Bewitched, also one of the shows that was greenlit during the Monster Renaissance here at the same time the Munsters was.
Ah. Which is interesting because then you had the opposing show, which was not as much monster, but, woman with magic. I Dream of Jeannie.
They said that the like you said, the nuclear family sitcom mixed with magic was the thing. And I think the big first hit of that was My Favorite Martian, they said.
Oh, okay.
That kind of kicked off that whole type of sitcom, and then the monster fad happened, and let's blend it all together. Boom.
Let's throw it
There
in a
you go.
blender and see what we get.
This show actually hit number 18 in its first year of the top shows from 1964 to 65. Can you name any of the others that are above it?
64 to 65. Well, let's see. Batman was 66.
Yep, that started the second season.
Right. But, let's see. 64 to 65. Let's see. I'm going to...
We just mentioned one.
Bewitched.
Bewitched was number 2.
Okay.
Beating it was
Beaver.
a Western. A Western.
Western. Gunsmoke? Or Bonanza?
Bonanza.
Okay,
Yep.
Bonanza.
Number 3 was a spinoff we've talked about unofficially. We haven't done an episode about it, but it's a spinoff of a show that we've done. Actually, the show that we've done is number 4. I'll start at the bottom, actually. So, number 18, tied for 18, was The Munsters and Gilligan's Island.
Oh.
Number 17 was Lassie. 15 tied was Petticoat Junction and The Ed Sullivan Show. 14 was Branded.
Okay, I think I know... Wait. Was Andy Griffith?
Andy Griffith's number 4. The
And then
spinoff of Andy Griffith was number 3.
The spinoff is... Oh, crap. Gomer Pyle.
Gomer Pyle. So, number 14 was Branded. I'm not sure what that is. Number 13 was My Three Sons. Number 12 was The Beverly Hillbillies. Number 11 was Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color. Number 10 was Combat. Number 9 was Peyton Place. Number 8, The Lucy Show. Number 7, The Dick Van Dyke Show. Number 6, The Red Skelton Hour. Number 5, The Fugitive. And then you had Andy Griffith, Gomer Pyle, Bewitched, and Bonanza.
Wow. Yeah, that's a nice lineup there.
64 would have been a good year to be watching television, looks like.
Oh, yeah.
There's some real classics on there.
Awesome.
But yeah,
Well-
I'm glad we did the Munsters and washed that bitter, disgusting taste out of our fucking mouth.
That icky blah of a movie. But again, if people want to interact with us, Jay, how can they do so?
I really like when you do that, the tickle the butthole thing. You mean email. You meant emails. Fuck.
Yes, I meant more the emails.
Why am I always
reaching out.
embarrassing myself on this show? Okay, so sitcommyface@gmail.com is a great way to email us. And you can find us on Facebook.com/sitcommyface. You can tweet us at sitcommyface. You can find Nick over here on Twitch. Maybe not for much longer. We're going to try to migrate to a place with better... Unless this video works. If you see a nice high-quality video where my picture is not...
you're not doing like stretches there, and we're not just getting a hand.
We might be able to stay. Yeah, we might be here for another minute if that worked. If not, find us over on YouTube. I'm sure. You can find what's your Twitch handle?
I am Netnick191. Twitch.tv/Netnick191.
You can find me at twitch.tv/bidwellfog, BIDWELLFOG. Do not forget, if you are in the LA area, to hit up that Deer Camp 86. Eventbrite tickets. They're only $13, kids. Come see my fat ass make a fool of myself on the big screen in Hollywood.
Woohoo!
Yeah, all kinds of great actors in there. My one buddy, David Lotman, awesome dude. He's on General Hospital now, which is funny to me. Always funny to see someone you know on a show like General Hospital doing that real,
nice,
real serious like look at camera. You Go check out this boy's other podcast. What is it called, Nick?
What Exit Jersey Stories?
Yeah,
with my buddy Pete Riario.
There you go. Shout out to Pete. Great show. I'll be on vacation next week. He'll be on vacation the week after that. So,
yep, gotta
we'll
hit a wedding
right before the magic spooky day, though.
Yes,
or on the spooky day, one of the other.
Or if in case you're in the New York area and you're at New York Comic Con, if you see me, say hi.
Yeah, do that tickle the butthole thing I was talking about. Don't ask, just walk up and tickle the butthole. No bad things will happen from that.
No.
What would we like the kids to do, Nicholas?
So, boys and girls, we'd love you to tell your parents.
I don't like where we're going with this. I don't. Oh, tell your parents to.
Well, like I said, to tell their parents to. Again, it's like the Super Sales, you know. Yeah. Tell your parents to sitcom my face. Bye.
Good night.
Bye. The stream has ended.